All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Moonhawk Studios Presents. I am your host, Mac Paladin, and I give Petty Fan no quarter.
Without a nickel.
It's just 3, 2, 1, go. The studio, as always, is my good friend Adam.
Hello.
Kevin's back in the house.
Somehow, some way, yes. Yes, I am.
Indeed. Petty Fan, mangling the technicals.
I mean, it's not burst into flames yet.
Give it time.
And enough pokes at the
You just
battery.
gotta use a bigger hammer. Just gotta use a bigger hammer.
Yeah.
And rounding out the cast, we have the Golix.
That's who I am.
We got a great show for you tonight, but before we get to the meat of the podcast, let's get to the news. Adam, what do you got?
Let's see. New toys. Or rather, well, laptop had arrived a couple of days ago. And I am getting a new Android phone in the next couple of days. So, yeah, my the last couple of days have been filled with configuring a new laptop.
Yeah, still more affordable, even with 125% tariffs.
Well, that's why I decided to bite the bullet and get a new laptop now to get ahead of tariffs before before this thing would cost double the price. We're probably going to get into tariff discussion both here and in entertainment news because this thing is bleeding in everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Well, let's just say that a Band-Aid was put on it that could be ripped off again at any time.
Yeah, it's very schizophrenic. It's like the tariffs are on, the tariffs are off, the tariffs are on, the tariffs are off.
The tariffs are different rates. I literally said to my mom today at dinner, it changes by the hour. No.
I mean, even the press secretary Caroline Levitt can't keep up with it because she's like, "Oh no, we're not doing that." Oh well,
And the market decided to jump up in exasperated joy that the worst tariffs were temporarily called off, but
Which I'm sure isn't what they wanted to have happen, so that they could buy low and sell high.
Well, actually, there's a lot more to that than about what caused it today.
Right, but we'll get it. We'll get into that in a bit. We'll get into that in a bit.
But
anyway,
continue on. Sorry.
yeah. Anyway, today was my mother's birthday. So we got some Chinese food.
There you go.
She liked it. She lamented it was a quiet birthday, but next year is going to be a birthday of certain significance. It will be her 60th day of existence, year of existence, and she wants a big birthday then. Don't know what that's going to entail yet, but because that's a year out, and given the state of the world, what next year looks like is hard to tell, if not impossible.
Yeah.
So plan for that. We'll plan for that in like 6 months or so.
We'll jump off that bridge. We'll jump off that bridge when the plane crashes into it and the bus goes careening over.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my news for the week. What's yours, Kevin?
All I'm going to say is something's happened, but I am not going to reveal it, and I'm going to keep it to myself. and I'm going to plead the fifth, as it were. But yeah,
This
I will not-
podcast is going to be entered into state's evidence, is it?
no, it's not. It's just a case that I don't want to reveal everything on here, if you know what I mean. I don't want to reveal everything, you know.
Okay.
Like, so, I mean, but I'm in a good place right now, and I'll deal with it as it comes, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Now, with that being the case, that's my news. Petty, what's going on in your world?
Oh,
Brace for impact.
huh?
I said brace for impact.
Honestly, this week has been relatively mild. We're still having an issue with the roof leaking, so we have one more thing we want to try before we have to throw in the towel and call a professional to come look at it. It sucks because we can't get into the attic because it's dropped ceilings. Originally, they were vaulted, so there's no access into the room where the leak is in the ceiling without tearing through structurally important wall.
Well, phooey.
Yeah. So hopefully my dad got this. It's some kind of thing similar to paint that is used to fix roof leaks.
Okay.
So hopefully that will help. And if not, then we need to call a professional, and that's going to be expensive. Because apparently insurance isn't going to cover it. Even though it's weather damage. Because screw us, apparently. I know. So that's going to be fun. We also ended up getting a keyless deadbolt for the front door. Just because of my disability, we kind of realized that should I be the only one home for whatever reason, if I fall and can't get up, need assistance, somebody's gonna have to kick the door down to help me. And that's a problem. So with the keyless, at least I can be like, hey, yeah, the code to the door is, whatever we decide it to be. And at least they can get in to give me assistance if needed. Be it one of our family friends, like, help get me over to the couch, or if it's actual, first responders. I'm so hurt I actually need to go to the hospital levels of bad,
Right.
So that was going okay, and then I realized, oh crap, modern deadbolts now go inside the door instead of on it. Because the last time we changed a deadbolt was 25-ish years ago. Back when we bought the house. So
you had to have the door dug out.
So we need to figure out if we're going to drill holes in our probably close to 50-year-old front door, or if we want to, we can basically replace a deadbolt with the doorknob area, and then just basically bolt a handle onto the door. Because the deadbolt doesn't have a handle on it. It's just a keypad and a locking bolt.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's something that we need to see about getting done. It's not something that can... Because the only other option would be to buy a new front door that already has those holes cut into them. Which, if doors weren't so damn expensive... I think the cheapest one I saw was like 400 something.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, that's gonna be... Hopefully we can sort it out and not have to deal with, anything unfortunate, like, because we have a lot of glass in our front door. So just drilling into it could break the glass. And that would be bad, because that would mean we need a new door. So yeah, just a whole lot of things that we need to deal with this weekend, or at least plan.
Mm.
And then, I think that's really it for me. Like, it's been a quiet week, just been, like, doing things. Just not a whole lot of, like, things to really talk about. Like, oh, hey, I actually cleaned some things up. Ooh.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay. Alex, what do you got?
Well, I just got back earlier today from a 3-day visit. Well, 3 days total visit to Rhode Island to visit my sister and her baby. So that was nice. It was a little bit weird because I'm not great at hanging out, and unlike with when we have like family up here or when we visit other family, and there's more to talk about, we all, we're a nuclear family. We know each other pretty well, so there was less to talk about at the times when the baby was being fed or being put down or whatever for a nap or any of the things that require not playing with her. But yeah, that was my big news. My laptop, which I've had for a long time, was really struggling, like to the point where if I try to have 2 video windows open at once, it would start getting the text in the window that wasn't focused glitching sometimes. But luckily I'm planning on getting a new laptop as soon as it gets to the Best Buy nearby, because I could have got it delivered, but if I did, it would have gotten here yesterday, or it would have been supposed to get here yesterday when I notably wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my main news, I guess.
All right. I am examining my cats with interesting auras over here. Doodles, what are you doing? I replaced my couch with 2 gaming chairs and a bucket chair. It now looks kind of like a podcasting stage. Might start using it as such. So yeah, I put all 5 batteries in one room, and all the solar array is now clustered together on one end of the yard instead of spread out along the wall. Slightly more efficient. It definitely recharges my power stations a lot faster and without depleting the battery array. So there is that. But still working on expanding it to the point to where I can turn back on my mini fridge and actually start using my little air fryer oven.
Oh man.
Yeah, that and the microwave. The microwave is 1250 watts. It's not a small one. So turning that on and the garbage disposal tends to make the whole battery thing go brad.
What could possibly go wrong?
I did find a cutoff switch for the garbage disposal, but it like I said, it requires pure sine wave power, and cheap inverters don't allow for that. So I'm still working on that. As we said, we were going to discuss the tariffs, but the stuff I need is in my Temu shopping cart, and it's about $1,200, and I got other things pressing me right now. So, including additional wind power, so that way I have incoming power 24/7. So when the sun goes down, the wind kicks up, and we do have a lot of wind here in the desert. And then there's a couple of construction projects in my backyard I need to complete in order to really make this thing cook, as they say. But I almost have 1,000 watts of solar coming in now, so.
Oh man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a process.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't see myself changing my arrangement for the podcast anytime soon because this actually works better than almost anything else I've ever thrown at it.
hmm.
So, you know, that's that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Monday went pretty much without a hitch. I'm still moving things over before they unceremoniously start deleting things. I found out I can move at least 10 things at a time without YouTube or Twitch crashing. So,
Oh man.
yeah, I just need to actually do it.
Huh.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. All right, so without too much further ado, tonight's guest is Matthew WIllis of Swords, the webcomic. Matthew, welcome to the program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am a webcomic artist from New Zealand. I make 2 webcomics. One is called Swords, and the other one is called Stars. And most recently, I have been working on a card game Kickstarter for a Swords card game.
Okay. All right. Well, Adam, you know what to do. Let's get this going. Let's make this happen. I'll see what I can come up with.
All right. Well, obviously, we should start with, the what, so to speak. As in, what is Swords? What is Stars?
Well, Swords started 7 years ago now. I posted one episode to Reddit, and it was just supposed to be a sort of one-off gag called Swords, and I posted it at sort of midnight my time, and when I woke up the next day, it had 17,000 upvotes. So I was just kind of like, yeah, there's something here. So with no sort of plan in mind, I suddenly had a webcomic called Swords. And because it got called Swords, that's what the theme ended up being. It worked quite well. And for the next sort of 40 days in a row, I did a comic every single day and sort of built an audience in the space of a month. And then Stars is a bit more recent. I think I started it about 3 years ago. And that's just kind of because I was watching a lot of Star Trek at the time. And it's sort of a parody of that in a way. Yeah.
Let's see. Many avenues to pursue here. I suppose the first question I have is, prior to the one-off gag, had you ever done a webcomic before?
Yeah, I've got a few different webcomics that I started, and I sort of tried to do that thing where you plan for years and years and build a big world on paper, and it's all kind of ready to go, and it's your magnum opus, and you're all precious about it. I did that a couple of times, and every time I actually started drawing the comic, about 4 or 5 pages in, you'd sort of get into this deadland where you're like, oh, I should go back and fix problems on the first page. And that's
sounds like my series Starship Moonhawk.
Yep, it's something that I see people do all the time. It's not something I fault people for, but it is something that I do tell people, like, you need to make something easier on yourself as your first project. It's like trying to make an MMO as your first video game. It's just you're putting too much on your own shoulders at that point. So yeah, I mean, I do have maybe 3 kind of big comic ideas. They're sort of my ambitious space operas that I'd love to go back to eventually. But right now, Swords is sort of something I can work on fast and deploy quickly, and has a big following. So I want to use that as a sort of catalyst to build up enough of a livelihood that if I really wanted to, I could say to people, hey, I need 4 years to go work on my space opera. Is that okay? And I'd still have fans by the end of it.
I mean, that's perhaps a dicier proposition than it first seems, because I've read a bit of Swords, and it's not, say, a gag a day, but it's it's a very comedy focused, lighthearted series, and I'm wondering if your audience is going to accept that kind of webcomic from you.
I think there's definitely an appetite for that sort of thing. For the first few years that I was working on Swords, the general consensus from the bottom half of the Reddit comments was, you're wasting your talent, your drawing is too good to be doing gag a day kind of comics. You should be working on something more like Sandman. And Sandman and Watchmen have always been like the golden standard that people would hold my work up against and say, I want this from you. That's a little less popular now since Sandman aired on Netflix. Ever since Sandman aired on Netflix, suddenly it's not like their special little secret anymore. So nobody was making a comparison. And then, some other drama happened more recently than that even, which is why no one is going to recommend that anymore. But there was an intermediate period before all that happened where just being on Netflix was enough for people to stop recommending that I try to pursue that style of book.
Oh boy,
also, I think that's a little bit disrespectful to the idea of gag a day. You can do meaningful stuff with that, and B, also it's freaking hard to come up with good jokes every day.
I mean, everyone's got detractors. Everyone on Reddit gets criticism. It's actually quite refreshing sometimes to go look at some other webcomic artists' comment sections and be like, oh, it's not just me getting this kind of treatment. Yeah.
I mean, with opinions like that, they could join the Academies of Arts and Sciences.
I mean, I welcome anyone to make a webcomic for a month and see where they land at the other side of it. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's basically like, just because you're working in, gag a day comedy comics, that doesn't make it not worthwhile or anything. Yeah. But I suppose another question is, has the comic gotten popular enough for you to do it full time?
Well, yes and no. I'm on year 7 right now. Back on the 5th anniversary, we launched the Kickstarter for the card game, and we made quite a bit of money off the card game Kickstarter. But it's taken a long time to fulfill that. We're literally just fulfilling that in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that Kickstarter was 2 years ago. So we had a lot of setbacks. There's some tariff talk I can get into as well, but yeah, I mean, I guess Swords is keeping me afloat right now, but only kind of just, and I kind of need to do more. So yeah, I'm in a sort of intermediary stage where the Kickstarter is done, and now I need to really figure out, how I'm going to make everything work. But yeah, I mean, no, no, not right now, but maybe.
I mean, it sounds like it's on the bubble, maybe.
Yeah,
or on the cut.
I sort of got over the line where I was comfortable to say this is my full-time gig, but now I'm back to a point where I'm like, maybe this isn't my full-time gig. Maybe I need to be picking up the slack somewhere else. And I mean, that's just, the entire creator economy online has been on a roller coaster ever since someone brought Twitter. So it's just how it is. It's how it is for everyone,
It's like, I don't want you advertising on my platform for free. How dare you? And it's like,
I posted the same comic within an hour of each other on Twitter. One had a link, one didn't, but it was the same comic otherwise. And the one with the link got 2 likes, and the one with no link got 1,000 likes. So they're kind of being blatant about how much they suppress that kind of stuff now. It's pretty frustrating.
Right. Like, I've heard from several creatives that, they'll get the same, if not more, engagement on Blue Sky than Twitter with links and such these days.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if Blue Sky isn't starting to kind of squash that a little bit as well. But definitely a year ago, Blue Sky, you could just post a link and you'd just get people clicking it, and it was great. And I feel like that sort of waned a little bit. I'm not sure if that's an algorithm thing or it's just people's appetite is kind of curved off, but there was a sweet spot.
It might be an influx thing. Like, Blue Sky has gotten so many people from, Twitex in the past few months. Like, to the point where the Blue Sky staff struggles to keep up with the capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're sort of talking about people who are willing to click on links that you provide, the context is really in how many new followers you're getting a month, not how many followers you already have. Because the followers you already have, they know what you're about, and they're not really as interested in that stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, it's I suppose there's threads, maybe, like, but then again, I've heard engagement there is pretty bad too.
I only really get engagement on threads if I say something deliberately provocative, and I'm just not that kind of person, so it's not worth it to me.
Right. And Mastodon is Mastodon, like,
yeah,
the
I made an
Linux
account, don't use it.
Like, though apparently Tumblr is poised to make a comeback.
It's all right.
I don't know about that. That's generous.
Tumblr just fails to die in spite of everything.
I mean, it's good for what it does.
It's there.
It's good for what it does, and it doesn't want to be anything more than that.
What is Tumblr good for exactly?
Basically being a GIF and pic board, and maybe some other things. It's it's basically Pinterest.
Artwork.
It's basically a nicer Pinterest. Honestly, if I were to describe it.
There was an era where it was the place to go for fandom, especially Supernatural and Doctor Who and Sherlock.
Honestly, I think it still is. But, it's not as, intense as it used to be. But it's still got an intense fandom element to it, I think.
I think my most sort of popular posts there are always sort of the comics that have more of a wholesome element to them than anything else. Yeah.
So, on the flip side of things, tell us a bit about Stars. Is it as comedy oriented as Swords here, or is it a bit more serious?
Oh, it's definitely sort of a comedy / wholesome kind of dealio. It's very much a Star Trek parody. There's more sort of more of the crew. A higher percentage of the crew is weird aliens. And the main character is basically the HR guy of the ship, and his job is to go around and make sure everyone's comfortable.
Hey, if you're not doing live action, take advantage of it. Make all the weird aliens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love Farscape, but but yeah, no, Stars is just kind of that sort of thing. It's much more sort of gag focused than Swords, which kind of tends to have a few jokes spiral off into like a story arc. Whereas Stars is much more just sort of characters bumping into each other in the hall and having a little interaction. And I kind of tried to take some of what I've learned from Swords and apply it to Stars in terms of like, it does have a big cast of characters, but I try to focus on sort of half a dozen as the main characters in most of the episodes. And, you know, it's trying to keep it smaller scope than Swords. And it is sort of easier art as well, because it's not supposed to compete at the same sort of level.
So, what does your work schedule look like, given that you are doing presumably 2 webcomics simultaneously here?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place right now because I just had a card game launch and I've been, you know, wrapping and sending things everywhere. But in general, what I try to aim for is 3 episodes of Swords a week, and then maybe 2 or 3 episodes of Stars. And an episode of Stars takes 15, 20 minutes to make from start to finish. It's not complicated. But then Swords can be sort of a 4 or 5 hour job per episode. So, because it's done at a much higher resolution. So,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess if you add it all up, it's 20, 30 hours a week of drawing.
Do the 2 series cross over in any way, or is it just like 2 separate universes you're making?
No, people really want that to happen, but it's not lore friendly for the 2 worlds to intersect, because Stars is set on, well, Earth exists in the Stars setting, and Earth doesn't exist in the Sword setting, because that's its own fantasy thing. So as soon as I start mixing those 2, there will be a lot of questions that I'll need to answer. And I'm quite litigious when it comes to world building.
And you've mentioned it a few times, but it might be a good idea to get into Swords, the card game. I suppose the first question here is why? Why make a card game out of Swords, the webcomic?
Well, firstly, I got hired by a company to make the Swords video game. So they paid me to license the IP to them, and then they hired me to help work on it, because it didn't really make sense to make a Swords game without me involved. And so a bit of time went by, and then we sort of agreed, after they came over from America and met me in person, we sort of agreed that doing a card game would be cool as well. So we ended up doing the card game, kickstarting it for the 5th anniversary. You know, he had this Thane, who's the game designer. He lives in Texas, and he had a cool idea for a sort of battle mechanic. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, where you throw down sets of moves. You sort of attack or block or something like that. And then the other player does the same, and those moves interact. So he had this idea, and, you know, I was available, and it all kind of came together. So we decided to do it for the 5th anniversary. We made $250,000 on the Kickstarter.
Wow.
And then we sort of had a lot of road bumps to go after that, because we took it to the manufacturer a few months later, and they said, no way, this is way too much work for us. So then we had to shop around for a new manufacturer, and then we had to kind of redo everything, like all of the box art and the playmats and the dice and the tokens and the color grading for all of the cards. And, you know, that meant we had more time to sort of finesse the artwork and finesse the rules. And, you know, we spent quite a bit of time sort of taking the game, which, to be honest, during the campaign had, you know, we'd added more stuff to it to make the game bigger. And I was kind of like, wow, this is quite a lot of rules for this game now. So we sort of carved it back a little bit and got rid of some things and made it a bit simpler, which I think the game really benefits for. So yeah, I mean, we ended up spending like another year working on art and polish and all of that, but finally it exists. So that's what happened. It seemed like a good idea at the time, so that's what we did.
I suppose before we ask further about the card game, is Swords the video game still a thing, or did that get canceled?
We've got prototypes. It's not dead, but it's not what we're focused on right now. So I don't know. Money is weird right now. Like I said, the economy is up and down. The creator economy online is hard. The card game, unfortunately, we're getting hit with tariffs. So that's impacted our bottom line as well.
Yeah.
So, it's not dead because we've done a lot of work on it already, but it's just a matter of, kind of getting over the card game, and then we can regroup.
You gotta
and decide
pace
what the
yourselves
future's
in
gonna
these
be.
uncertain times is what basically it boils down to.
Yeah, and I mean that's true as well. I don't really want to alienate my fans by having 3 or 4 Kickstarters a year or anything like that. So I kind of have to. It'd be great for me to just do a $250,000 Kickstarter every 3 months, but I don't think that's realistic. So we just kind of got to do what we promised to do before we start thinking about the future. And right now, that's continuing to get the card game from where it's currently sitting in boxes to the people at home who paid for a copy.
And how far along is I assume that's like redeeming the Kickstarter backers and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's right. So we split the stock into 2. We sent about 10-15% of it here to New Zealand, and my sort of responsibility is to send stock to the New Zealand backers and to the Australian backers, because it's a lot cheaper to send stuff within New Zealand than for every single one of those customers to get their copy from America.
Of course.
And so the other sort of 85-90% of the stock is in America right now. And that arrived like right around the time Trump started playing with levers and pushing buttons and making weird proclamations. So it is a difficult time for us to be fulfilling this, and we are having to basically say to people, please be patient. We will try to send it to you when the moment is right. But yeah, I mean, I've done my part. Let's put it that way. New Zealand and Australia, they've all got their copies. They are good, but the rest of the world is a work in progress.
That is unfortunate on multiple levels.
Yep.
But anyway, so for this next part, I'm going to turn things over to the Gog since he's our tabletop and card game expert. At least the close. You're the one who plays with card games and tabletop stuff. So
same with me over here. But yeah.
Yeah, Petty, you can join in too. You can ask about the particulars about the rule sets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So have at it.
Sounds ominous.
So I guess, is there a game like currently out that's similar as a good jumping in point for someone who wants to look at the cards or the Swords card game?
I mean, tonally, I would say Munchkin is a pretty good match, but the mechanics of the game are not like that at all. I don't really know if there is a game like Swords in that regard.
Fair enough. Is it meant to be like a competitive game, casual game?
I mean, a bit of both. It's generally focused around 1v1 fighting, but we've sort of got these adventure modules that we're working on. They're kind of like D&D campaigns, where you pick a character and you pick a few gold worth of sword cards, and then you play through a campaign either solo or with friends. So, we're kind of relying on this idea that there are different game modes that you can play. And maybe down the line, I'd like to do like a roguelite kind of version, that sort of thing. But at its core, it is a 1v1 or 2v2 kind of battle game where you have a character, they are equipped with a sword. Those things have a health value and a damage value, and then they both have abilities that modify the outcomes of what is more or less a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock kind of 3-card game.
Interesting.
I love that reference.
They did do not that it's the same thing at all. I just doing it with having an adventure thing reminds you. Pathfinder was doing a adventure card game for a while, but that seemed to be more dedicated towards longer campaigns and stuff.
Right.
Sorry.
So how long is a I guess round match of the Swords card game expected to last?
So basically, you play a match based on how much gold you want to spend. So you might say, let's play a 4 gold match. Most of the heroes cost 2 gold. Swords can cost anywhere from sort of 1 to 6 gold. But a 4 card match, probably 5 or 10 minutes. They're really not very long. But then if you start adding gold, you say, let's play a 12 gold match. You've got sort of 1 hero and 1 sword, and then you've got 2 extra heroes who are, sort of waiting on the bench in the waiting zone, we call it. And then when that hero gets defeated, or you play the swap card, which is one of the moves, then another hero can come in fresh and continue. So yeah, it's sort of very customizable, but you can get a fun little sort of a few moments of joy out of a 5-minute battle where you sort of pair up a hero and a sword in a weird combo, and something strange happens. And there's a lot of really silly cards. Like there's one that does double damage against vegetarians, and sort of other stuff that breaks the fourth wall, like the Defenestrator, which is it does more damage based on what floor of a building you're currently playing the game in. But then there are other cards which are just normal. So I guess it depends on your temperament for silly cards, whether you want to take those out or not.
Right. And can you just play the game with like just the cards themselves? Do you need extra stuff like dice? Do you need special tokens?
So the game does come with damage tokens. If you can track damage and buffs, which is our other sort of main token, on paper or with a dice or something, that's fine. But the game does come with tokens. And you kind of only need dice if you're playing one of the adventure type modules. The rest of it is just sort of, if you're playing 1v1, a dice shouldn't come up because it's not on any of the cards.
Fair enough. And I guess you mentioned the modules. Is that like a scenario type thing, or is it like?
Yes, it'll be like you play as this character. You take this many gold worth of swords in, and then there are NPCs to fight who might be monsters or might be other characters wielding their own swords or that sort of thing. And sort of, some pick a path bits where you might go in the cave or, climb the waterfall or that sort of thing. But we're still kind of polishing those. We sort of soft-launched early in New Zealand and Australia because I had the stock. But those adventure modules, we're going to kind of try to get out in line with most of the American audience receiving their copies.
Now, are they
I
going
had
to be
more
just...
to say. I'm flipping through the rules here.
Yeah. So how are the modules like single player, multiplayer?
We're kind of focused on single player ones right now, but we did promise to do some multiplayer ones. So we've at least got one kind of boss rush kind of thing that we want to do. But we plan to just keep working on it and keep expanding it. And, the more feedback we get from players, the more we'll try to implement that in the ones we make in the future as well.
I think that's all I can think of. At least as far as like nitty gritty of inner workings of the card game. Gulix, do you have anything?
I'm just looking at the move thing. So you have the basic ones in your hand to be used at any time, and then there are special ones that are available gotten for the table. That's the core of the rock, paper, scissors thing?
Yeah, so you have 2 of each of the basic cards: attack, block, and buff. Basically, they're more or less a rock, paper, scissors type thing. You want to collect buffs to do big attacks later, but if someone attacks you while you're buffing, then your buff will get cancelled and you'll just take the damage. So it's kind of a bit of a bluffing game where you have to kind of go, well, I'm definitely going to block first and then attack and then block again. And you have to sort of play against your opponent, try to figure out their logic and anticipate what they're going to do. There are some hero cards which will be like, if you play buff as your first move, you will get an extra buff. And then it's like, well, why wouldn't they, take that chance? Because that's all your hero is good for, is to get that extra buff if they can. And then the special cards, there are 6 of them, and you're only allowed to play one of them in a round, which is 3 cards laid down. And then they're mostly used to cash in your buffs to attack or heal or something like that. Yeah.
I see. Interesting. Unfortunately, the copy of the rules I got does not have too many example cards in it, but it does look interesting.
I will take that under advisement.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
not your fault. I only downloaded one file because I had forgotten that we were going to be talking about this and didn't get around. Because like I said, I was on a trip for the last 3 days, so I did get a chance to look at it while I was away.
I mean, again, the game is alive in that sense. We will keep taking people's feedback and keep trying to improve the rules and the modules and all of that stuff.
I suppose along those lines, what do you have planned in terms of future modules, expansions, however you want to define that?
Well, we've kind of got, I'm going to say 5 that are... Sorry, I can hear myself. We've got 5 that we promised during the campaign, and then the rest we'll just keep working on when we can. But right now, it's really trying to get them up to a high level of polish to sort of set the standard for the rest of them. Maybe one every month would be great for a while, but I'm not really sure. It just kind of depends on what the appetite is like for them too.
And any plans to have Stars the card game or Stars the module in the Swords card game?
Well, the game designer Thane is a really big Stars fan. I'd say he might like Stars more than Swords. So if we wanted to do all this again as a Stars, all hands on deck, compatible with Cut the Deck, then it's something we've floated for sure, but it's not something I'm actively working towards at this moment. And Stars does have a smaller fan base than Swords because it is newer. So I'll give it some time. When it hits its 5th anniversary, maybe it's worth pursuing something like that, but not right now.
Oh, I guess
I got other things to do.
One more question about the modules. How are those going to be distributed? Do you buy a book? Are they free? Do you just download a PDF or?
They are free on swords.game, which is our website. There will be one which is only for our sort of big backers. And maybe we'll experiment with doing something like that, but if we end up doing another Kickstarter, it would be cool to take all those PDFs and put them into a book. But again, it's just kind of something we'll build over time. And, if people are like, I want all these in a book now, then sure, we'll do that. But for right now, they are PDFs only, and they are available on the website for people to play, or will be.
Oh man, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put a conflict resolution thing that destroys the universe in your game.
Yeah, we should probably be more specific about that, but
It's fine.
For those
Look
keeping
at
score at
this.
home, if both of you play the End Them Rightly special move card, both are ended rightly and the Swordiverse implodes, which presumably means the game ends, but...
The game ends. Yep.
And that's when we old D&D players used to say, well, the giant Nike swoosh smashes your entire party for infinity damage. Let's go watch Robotech.
Something like that.
I thought the primary thing of D&D was the wizard asking how big the room was, and then immediately yelling, "I cast fireball."
I mean, I suppose after Wizards of the Coast, but back in the day,
Fair enough.
back in the day, you could have a character that ended the universe. I know. I failed my intelligence check on that one.
Back in my day.
That was a pretty good ogre impression.
Anyway, like,
Do we have any other items we wish to put for consideration for our guest?
I wanted to get back to the video game briefly before we conclude here.
Sure.
And that is, you mentioned that not in active development, but what is it supposed to be? Like an RPG, an adventure game, roguelike?
So we actually made a few different prototypes. The main one is a sort of isometric top-down roguelike Diablo kind of thing, but funny, you know. And yeah, I mean, it's not like we could ship it tomorrow. It still needs a lot of work done to it. But yeah, I mean, just think of a funny Diablo with a kind of 2D art style, but in an isometric view, and that's pretty much what we were going for, with a whole bunch of swords that break the universe.
So a typical
Nice.
Tuesday.
All right. Well, that concludes my gamut of questions.
All right. So, Matthew, before we wrap up here, do you have any appearances or events of note that you wish to promote before we part ways for the evening?
Well, I live
Or-
all the way
or
in
in
New
your case,
Zealand,
morning.
so I think I'm going to a convention later this month, which is Wellington Armageddon, but they haven't confirmed if I'm going, so I'll get back to that.
All right.
But I do know that a few of the guest artists who were in Cut the Deck, a bunch of webcomic artists from Texas, are going to be at the Staple Expo, which is on the 12th and 13th of this month. So go see My Dad is Dracula, go see Last Place Comics. They're great. I love those guys. And they will be signing stuff, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll have to definitely revisit this as things develop, and especially as you get further into development on the game and such. We'll keep tabs on this and possibly have another chat.
Great.
All right. Well, it was great having you on the show, and we look forward to following your success.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Do.
Mac checking his notes.
Well,
rummaging through screens.
Well, it's time for the entertainment news.
Yup.
Indeed. Well, yeah, but I have a thing, and then my screen's refreshed, and so it's taking me a moment.
Okay. Do you want us to watch that while you're doing that, or
Nope, I got there. Just give me a dang minute there.
all right? Trying to avoid the dead air.
Dead
Yeah.
air.
So, well, we definitely filled it in our
Yeah.
professionally unprofessional way.
Right.
So, everybody, that was Matthew WIllis of Swords, the webcomic. And be sure to check him out online, follow him on Kickstarter, and we will definitely have more updates as things progress. Now for the entertainment news. Adam, if you would like to proceed.
All right. So I think we should start with the tariffs.
Yeah, because it affects everything and everybody. So yeah.
I'm like, Now, in the specific framework of entertainment, I believe I've seen. I'm not sure if this is something that China is going to do, or if it's something that's been floated, or if it's something that was suggested. Look, the tariff talk has been very chaotic.
Yeah.
Because
I
it
don't-
keeps changing.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, the up.
I'm no longer certain of how much we're winning and how much we're losing at this point.
Okay, so the upshot of what I'm talking about here is China may move to ban the importation of U.S. film.
Mm-hmm.
That could be
Like,
rough.
Yeah.
That could be rough. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
an
no, no.
understatement.
Like, no. That will be rough because that's where a lot of American studios make their money.
Yep.
Maybe not as much as, say, 10 years ago when China was still desiring to steal Americans' movie-making techniques, but still, a lot of, Marvel's still big there, Avatar's still big there, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. It's a big market for Avatar, especially.
Yeah. The point is, if they lose access to that market, that's going to be a very, very big financial hit.
Painful.
That was called me being blasé for sarcastic reasons.
Mhm.
Right. But not everybody knows this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I
So-
think it's important that you clarified it. I was just clarifying that I was not being naive about it.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Right. So,
Meanwhile, California is basically doing a soft secession.
not
Not that I know of. Not that I can see.
Gavin Newsom tweeted today that basically businesses from other countries come to California because we're not insane and we're not basically going to uphold the tariffs.
Well, I mean, they're not the only. They're not the only state trying to make moves at the moment. Like,
yeah, Indiana's doing this as well.
yeah, Illinois and Maryland as well, doing trade deals across with other countries. So,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
specifically refusing to collect federal tariffs is a form of soft secession.
well,
Refusing to uphold federal law is a form of soft secession, and this has been said by multiple people on both sides of the aisle.
It's nullification. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's the term. That's the term.
word.
That's the term.
And that's not good at all, but that's a bit beyond what we're talking about in the here and now.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, but the film industry is based largely out of California, so if they strike independent trade deals with China, then the film industry is safe.
maybe,
maybe not. Who knows? I mean, it depends.
it's like
But this just happened today, so we have no way of knowing what the ramifications are going to be.
Right.
Well,
it's gonna be a question of if like Chinese companies still do business directly, like not with the government, but with these individual studios and companies. It's gonna be a question of
It's not
those
even a question
specifically
of
cut
that.
out.
It's not even a question of that. It's a question of legitimacy. It's like the question is, can California even do this? And the law is probably going to say no, not the least of which is because Republicans control, the Supreme Bench.
Yeah.
Right, but this is what it is, and this is where the soft secession talk and all of that stuff is coming up, is that what they are doing is they're testing the limits of what they can get away with.
Yes, that's it.
It's a
Find the line.
It's a fine line, and it's a form of pushback.
Right.
And even the pundits are scratching their heads as to what it actually all means. I mean, I know we have ideas, but I'm just saying that the so-called people in charge are like scrambling over this kind of thing because it's like, is Gavin Newsom declaring himself the president of California? You know?
Oh God, no, I don't think so. Like, because remember, he's term limited. He's out after I think either this year or next. No, next year. After next year, he's gone. So,
I mean, it's not stopping Trump from breaking the law. So
I don't think Gavin will do what Trump does on that front. I don't think he will.
no, I think he'll be an advisor to whoever comes in next. Is probably what will end up happening.
Yeah,
He'll be a Machiavellian manipulator behind the throne. Although some people seem to be arguing that he's looking towards the national stage as well. You know, so he's got to appear
good
strong.
luck with that one. Considering
Yeah.
what he's been doing, yeah, no.
But again, it's all weird. So
Yeah, but anyway,
we don't know what the hell he's trying to do.
yeah. That seems to be the case with Gavin on a number of fronts. Anyway.
Which is entertainment news in and of itself.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have to move the tariff talk to the main front, as it were.
Right.
And you might, and if you're wondering where that is, well, that's video games.
Yep.
Specifically, the Nintendo Switch 2.
They fired the first shot, amazingly enough.
$450 console, and the games won't even actually be on the cartridges. It'll just be a download code for $85.
Once again, that is not for all games. That is a thing that is already being done, and it is Nintendo saying that they will label when they do it.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, back to the tariff point, it's like, when I first saw the prices, I was like, wait a minute, what? And then the tariff announcement came a little bit later in the day, it's like, oh, okay. Alright. Nintendo was just firing the first shot. It's like saying to everybody, hey, yes, everything's going to be expensive. Surprise!
More to the point, Nintendo has officially canceled pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yep.
Because they don't know what the price is going to be anymore.
Nope. And it was and the price they announced was only the base price. It could be higher.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is that they did not open the pre-orders up before they did that, because I'm pretty sure if they had let pre-orders happen, then they have to go, oh, we got to jack up the price. People would be absolutely furious. So at the very least, Nintendo decided not to open that can of worms and decided to, not do pre-orders, which is a bit concerning, considering that this thing is out in June, and it'll probably only be like a month or so, depending on what they decide to do. Unless they delay the console itself in America.
This, as Adam did point out at the beginning, though, the tariff situation is very well. Both of you did.
Fluid,
the tariff situation is very fluid right now. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. Whew,
yes, because it's well, China still has a 125% tariff, but everybody else has 10%, and it could go up and get ripped off in 3 months' time, which, by the way, is in July. Guess what happens in the early part of July? 4th of July.
But yeah, by the way, China has just hit back with 84% tariffs on U.S. imported goods.
Yep.
I think they're trying to make the point that we can also just arbitrarily make up bigger numbers.
Mm-hmm. That, and they can also make moves. They can also make other moves if they want it. If they want to, eventually down the line, if they want.
They hold $20 trillion in U.S. debt. They can make a lot of moves.
The most baffling thing in all of this is imposing tariffs on allied countries because they won't take our beef and pork. It's like, you do understand that our beef and pork is disgusting, right?
No, he doesn't. He also doesn't understand how actual trade works.
Well, and the other thing,
he thinks
I mean,
he thinks that service has a value of $0, presumably because he tries to never fucking pay for any of them.
Right.
well, we do also have a Secretary of Health and Human Services who thinks that riboflavin is toxic chemicals. It's vitamin B.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Mac, just remember, our beef is beautiful.
Fuck off.
I mean,
That was literally a thing said by the Secretary of the Treasury, ladies and gentlemen. I did not make that off of my own head.
I mean, if you like growing an extra set of tits on your back and cook it extra long to get rid of all the unnecessary mobilization, sure, it's great.
Yeah. Like he's like I can't get that clip out of my head. It's like he goes, "Our beef is beautiful." He didn't just say it's beautiful. He said our beef is beautiful. Like he emphasized it.
Like he would know as he's
people.
sitting. As he's sitting there eating imported Wagyu beef, and he's talking about our beef being so fucking beautiful.
Meanwhile, we shoot it up with hormones and drench it with things that's banned in Europe. Huh?
Our chicken has been so overbred it has no flavor anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting
Yes.
a bit off topic here.
I know.
we
I just had to note that because technically that is part of this discussion because
Right.
beef and poultry are two things that are part of this tariff discussion. So
A lot of things are part of this tariff discussion.
right,
Even if it's cover for something else.
right,
Mhm.
right. But back to the
So,
point.
Here's
I'm
the
not
other,
still going.
other.
I'm not still going. I said my bit.
I do point at hand.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
the other thing. China will win this.
Oh yeah.
Not just China.
Well, but we're talking. The main rivalry here is with China because
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
because this is the country where the tariffs were not removed or reduced or anything.
Right.
Right.
We supposedly we import something like $500 billion worth of stuff from them, give or take, and their entire export tab is something like $3.9 trillion.
Right.
We're dropping the pail by comparison. We're a small percentage. Sure, it'll be a little itchy at first, when they rip the Band-Aid off, but ultimately there are still fertile gardens elsewhere.
It's not even that.
Uh-huh.
It's they are more willing to accept pain than we are because that
Totalitarian regime.
not just that, but they're viewing this in very nationalistic terms. Like,
Right.
note that the Trump administration regime, whatever
I
you
like
want to call
regime
it,
better.
Mm-hmm.
fair. They've all of a sudden tried to do this half-ass U-shape bullshit. This self-reliance, pain is victory, sacrifice for the greater good.
And we
Yeah,
are
Americans
incapable
aren't built
of
that way.
that.
We're just not built that way.
No. And we haven't since the end of World War II.
I'm like, even more so, he's asking Trumpists to do
Yeah.
this.
Some will, because they're that drunk on his
I'm
cult.
sorry, man, but
But-
there's 500,000 factory jobs that are currently not filled because no one wants to work in them for the wages the robber barons are willing to pay. I would rather
Particularly
continue
my
doing
generation
gig
and
economy.
younger. Particularly
I
my
would
generation and younger.
Well, I would prefer to keep doing gig economy and working half the hours at half the strife for twice the pay.
Well, it's also we still got this fucking bullshit nostalgia running through our political narrative, and it's not just Republicans here. We've got
Not.
fucking Midwest Democrats. Gretchen Whitmer was in the Oval Office celebrating
Today.
the tariff.
No, not just the Oval Office. Not just the Oval Office. Well, specifically, she did a speech in DC. I don't know. I forgot where it was or what it was, where it was, but yeah, she basically is one of these Democrats going around going, tariffs aren't technically bad. It's just the way he's doing it is bad, and that's just not going to work right now.
Oh my God!
Now, to be fair, she's probably more in tune with her state than we'd like to admit, and specifically her state, not the country. Let me stress that. But on the other hand, you've got Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania and J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, also two other Rust Belt states, technically, that aren't speaking this kind of language. So
Right.
It's a case of there's going to be Democrats that are going to try to go around and suggest that, tariffs aren't technically bad. It's just the way that it's being implemented here is horrible and bad and destructive. And you're going to have probably the majority of the party, I would bet you, that are going to go, excuse me a moment.
Yeah.
This isn't working.
I mean, let's
It's
be
never
fair.
going to
Tariffs
work."
are not. Tariffs are a early and blunt instrument of economic interaction between countries.
I still remember the bit in Dave when they're asking, they're like, okay, say your mother was in the car and she was sick and you had to get her to the hospital. You'd run that red light, wouldn't you? He's like, well, I don't know. He's like, okay, now imagine, probably. And he's like, well, now imagine that the whole country is in the car. The country's sick, Dave. The country needs you to run that red light to get to the hospital.
The thing that really cracked me up is talking about China. They had a piece of tape ready to whip out. It's a tape of Ronald Reagan in 1987 saying when we had a dispute with Japan that tariffs are bad, essentially, and basically lambasted the idea of doing tariffs and is going on radio and television saying, I really don't want to use tariffs. I want to find a way out of it ASAP. That's how Ronald Reagan promoted a trade dispute. What we're talking about here is completely different. It's Trump saying tariffs are great. Tariffs are wonderful. Tariffs are going to save us all.
Right, because he's a small child playing with blocks. Only the blocks are billions of dollars and major economies.
Yeah. According to Trumpists, Reaganites are Tommy, you know what, pussy bedwetters.
Obviously, if this is where we're going.
This is where we are now. Invoking Reagan does not chagrin a single MAGA.
That said, there are still a lot of people that it does.
Well, yeah,
it's like if you cut back on all that Jesus crap, it's kind of weak. That's where we are as a nation right now. 30% of our public is saying right, but if you could just cut back on that compassion stuff because that's for pussies.
30%, I'd go even higher than that. I'd go 40.
Well, I mean, 30% is all in. I'm saying the rest of it is varying
pretty much
until you get to, the Tom Tillises of the world.
Right. The I want to be a rebel, but why should I? I'll get killed for it.
Did you hear his one person to choke speech in committee
buddy,
the other day?
Buddy, if you want to know who you're going to choke, I'm afraid you're going to not like the answer and you're probably going to reject the answer outright.
It's like if you could just turn that hand around yourself.
Yeah. Him and also the boss man that he voted for.
Well, we can't blame Trump, and it's like, why can't we? He's the one making the decision.
Because Joe Biden wouldn't be making this decision if he was the president. Kamala Harris wouldn't have made this decision if she had won the presidency. It's him.
Yep.
So all I know is for Tom, he better watch out because Roy Cooper is probably going to run for a seat, and he's going to come after him so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Cooper's face is going to be in his nightmares.
That's what that little thing, that little quasi micro speech he did in lieu of a question.
Yeah,
It's the I want to blame the guy, but I can't blame the guy because
I'll get
he might
primaried.
target me. Yeah, and it's like you're gonna get primaried anyway, dude. So you may as well just go for it.
That would require a Republican to have courage.
That would require them to have.
I know a
any
guy. He'll
capability
lose,
for
but I know a guy.
self-protection.
Like, he lost badly and disgraced himself, but I'm pretty damn sure that he'd be stupid enough to try it. Try to bounce back. Get like
North Carolina
20%.
has always been a battleground state that flips back and forth on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there is no hedging there.
Mm-hmm.
There is no. It's not West Virginia. You can't hedge there.
Yeah, and North Carolina has a lot of federal employees and a lot of educated people around who probably aren't liking the level of antagonistic nonsense that's going on right now. Like the Triad region is specifically called the Research Triad. Research, one of the things that this government has been attacking on all fronts.
Also, I didn't have agreeing with Rand Paul for once on my anarchy bingo card, but there we have it.
Yeah.
Well, you're a libertarian.
Yep.
He's actually being a libertarian. He's actually following his brand, even if it does suck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, where do we want to go here?
I'm exhausted. I need to smoke. I need a drink.
I need to smoke and drink.
I need to smoke a drink.
This is why we stopped the politics show.
I don't know, man. This seems like we need an outlet.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Anyway,
I've already forgotten what my proposal was. I'll have to go back and read the messages.
Anyway,
so
any general entertainment news, or did we cover everything we need to cover on the tariffs?
Minecraft the movie.
Looks oddly entertaining, and it's destroying box office records.
yeah.
Not at all surprising, to be honest with you, at this point.
No, I wasn't surprised, but I interact with children, so I know that Minecraft is one of the biggest things in their fucking universe.
Yep.
So,
so the fact of whether it's good or not is almost immaterial.
Yeah, kids still went to see the fucking Shark Tale or the Power Rangers movie or, insert shitty kids movie here.
The thing about Minecraft, though, is that it is a game that my generation and younger has come across at bare minimum, at least, if not have actually played and actively play. It's not my world, but I know what it is. I've seen people who've played it, so, and I know family members who have played it. So it's a case of, kids wanting to see and families wanting to see a movie based upon the video game that they've played for hours and hours and hours and hours at a time that have driven their parents absolutely nuts.
I apparently also now know what happens when you combine lava with chicken.
Apparently, yes.
It becomes even more delicious.
And it breaks into song.
Speaking of chickens...
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm like... See?
Vroom, get a segue.
Wait, okay. I'm presuming that y'all haven't heard about this trend. That's the chicken jockey TikTok trend.
Yeah, that's what I knew where you were going with that. Because
considering you couldn't pay me to touch TikTok with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
You were saying, Kevin?
Yep, it's a TikTok meme. Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
yep. This movie is made for memes. That's another reason why it's breaking. That's another reason why it's breaking box office records. MEME. That's why.
To the point
Explain
where, to the point where cinemas are flat out saying that they're going to start ejecting these influencers because.
Yep, you're only going to do that. Yeah, I have a feeling though that this is going to be the last time they're going to do stuff like that because theaters are going to need all the money they can get and all the reason for people to come to movie theaters, and they may not like it now, but eventually it's going to come to a point where we're going to go, we need these people. Damn it.
I mean,
money is bad money.
Being a disruptive dick is also bad for business.
Well, yeah, it is, but if it's children,
So what are they doing with chickens?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys to explain it for the cheap seats in the back.
Yeah. Let's explain it.
All right.
We can't beg book this, old timers.
Yeah. All right. Footage has emerged on social media of audiences cheering, throwing popcorn, and shouting out during the film, particularly during a scene where one of the stars, Jack Black, calls out "chicken jockey" at the appearance of a baby zombie riding a chicken.
Look, you paid for Jack
So
Black,
just
you
people-
get Jack Black.
So it's just people cheering at the
for children.
Yeah.
Come on, that's like that rates it like 1/18th of a fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show. How does that even fucking qualify as a meme?
The thing is the throwing of popcorn. That's the thing.
It's popcorn.
Guess what?
Trust
Guess
me.
who has to clean that
Yes,
stuff
I
up?
know vacuuming it up sucks.
No, we don't vacuum.
Okay, sweeping sucks.
Like, it's a mess. And
Kevin's trying to
throwing
refrain
whole
from telling
containers of popcorn.
war stories here.
speaking from experience, because I know how this works, okay? Speaking from experience, I can tell you for a fact that when you clean these theaters, especially during the day, because it's ushers first and then janitors at 11 o'clock, midnight, and onward. But for most of the day, it's ushers. And we are on a specific time frame where we have to clean everything up before the next showing. And it's usually I would say 15, 20, 25 minutes, which is not a lot of time when row after row after row after row is covered in not just popcorn. Popcorn is probably the main thing that they throw, but they could also throw candy. They could also throw other things. Soda, yes.
Nacho cheese.
Well, it's probably more. It's more popcorn and candy than cheese and liquid.
I know, the theater in my area doesn't even have nachos. It's just popcorn and candy.
Yeah, popcorn and candy, but yeah. And trust me.
All I'm saying is y'all had me hyped up for something involving either actual raw or rubber chickens.
Well, I have seen it. Well, actually, I have seen a video floating around of someone actually bringing an actual chicken to the theater.
Yeah, that has happened.
That has happened. I will note that. Yes. People are.
I'm not saying it's okay to make a mess of a movie theater for a meme.
No.
I'm saying that on the scale of making a mess of a movie theater for a meme, or being disruptive in a movie theater for a meme, this is fairly small potatoes.
Yeah.
The Schadenfreude runs deep with this one.
Look, y'all are just complaining that you're putting up the "no fun allowed" sign, Kevin.
If anything, I'm complaining that the people who are doing the memes are not being creative enough.
Look, all I'm just telling you is that I'm not dissing fun or anything like that at all. What I'm telling you is that there are people whose job it is to keep the theaters clean. And when we have to clean up these messes, it is a pain in our asses. It exhausts us. It drives us. It makes it to the end of the night where we cannot even barely move. Okay?
Yeah, no, I get that.
I'm not at all dissing the people who are having fun with this or enjoying this, because at the end of the day, that helps us. But I'm just telling you that that to at least in some part of your brain,
Challenge.
at
It's a
some
challenge.
point, right? I know it's a challenge, but in some part of your brain, think of the people who are cleaning these theaters up.
No, I'm
is
saying
all
it's
I'm
a
telling
challenge. It's a challenge for the people who have to do that, and have a little fucking empathy.
you. Just I'm
That's
not
all we're
dissing it
saying. Yeah.
all. I'm not like these cinemas are saying
Have
stop
some
doing that.
empathy
I'm
for your
saying
poor theater workers.
just think about the poor theater workers. A lot of them are not as paid as they would like to be, and they work long, intense hours to ensure your experience is a good one. So that's all I'm saying. Have a
All
good
right.
time. Just
Kevin.
be
I'm
fine
with
with
you,
it.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So I think we're good for the week.
Okay.
Well, let's see what we got going on next week here. I almost spilled the beans on that one. We're going to have the return of Daniel Cablin, or how was it pronounced? It's been a while.
Cablin, I believe.
All right. So bring us up to speed, Adam, if you would, please.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember how long ago we had him on. Like, I know it was like, I want to say maybe a year and a half. Like,
It's hard
I'm
to
pretty sure.
to believe that. It's hard to believe we came back with in 2022.
I'm pretty sure it's still listed there on the schedule. The first time he was here, but anyway, he's he's got a Kickstarter for his American Dreams comic. If I'm remembering correctly, we talked about issues 1 through 4. It's now up through 1 to 6, which I believe constitutes the first arc of American Dreams, which is launching on April 22nd. Plus, it's found a new home over at Band of Bards. I'm trying to remember if that was a new home or not. Like, still, it's with Band of Bards, which is a indie comics publisher of some repute. And he's launched a few new series, from what I remember. Night Wrath, Rook and Night. I don't think we talked about those last time. So,
well, that should be good. That should definitely be good, and we'll be getting a sort of a exclusive opportunity here, being so close to the launch of the Kickstarter.
yeah. So look for that next week. He's confirmed and all that stuff. So,
all right. Well, we're barreling towards the end of the season, folks. 5 more episodes, so be there or be square. And looking forward to next week. But again, thank you to our guest Matthew WIllis of Swords. Be sure to check out his stuff online at your Google is your friend.
Jesus.
Oh boy. Oh
Jesus
dear.
Christ. I thought I had something for that, and I'm sorry, I just failed.
I think old age is coming from Mac.
Totally
Yeah.
unprofessional. Prefrontal something.
Uh-huh.
Bro, the prefrontal has become postfrontal.
Post-traumatic something. But and as always, we'll fix it in post. But until next time, I'm your host, Mac Walden, saying thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, kids.